everyone. Welcome back to the Socially Awkward Podcast. My name's Adam. I'm back again with my BFF, Ryan. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, brother. How you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Just got to play Warzone for the last 4 hours on the brand new map. Just still getting used to it. It's a lot to take in.
I have not had a chance to play that yet lately. I know I suck at it because I'm not as good as you are. I mean, I give you credit because I see how you play.
I'm not that good.
You're better than me. You're better than me. So
it's not saying much, Ryan.
Yes, I am not good at Warzone.
Ryan's like, how do you open doors?
You said what?
Ryan's like, how do I open doors?
I ain't that fucking bad. Come on.
No, that's Katrina. She's that bad.
Oh yeah, no, but yeah.
So what's cracking, dude?
It's going good. What's cracking?
What's cracking lacking? Hey, but hold on before we start. Is that music too loud for you? Is that a good?
I don't even hear it. So you're good.
Okay, good. All right, good.
Actually, I could go ahead and put those in too, but no, yeah, I don't even hear it. But yeah, what's cracking? What's cracking? You know what?
You had a question before the podcast. Why don't you just re-ask me that question? Because that's a great place to start.
Okay, I'll go with that one. So the question I asked you earlier for because we were talking about what this podcast was going to be today. Usually we have shit lined up, and today life's busy. Holidays are coming are here upon us. So I was thinking, but I was on TikTok and something came up, and a topic that was very interesting to me. I thought was somewhat controversial, but it's a good question, and it's about culture. So when it comes down to it, like, what is culture? And somebody said, I saw it's actually a TikTok today, was there. He said there is no white culture. There's no such thing as white culture. I was like, and this was a white guy saying this. I was like, And I've had this discussion with somebody, another friend of mine. That's what I had this discussion with. And we were talking about that. About culture, different types of culture, because we know that there's Asian culture, there's African culture, different types, Latin culture, all stuff like that, and it comes up like, is there such thing as white or Caucasian culture?
Well, you gotta get kind of specific though, because are we talking about white at all, like European, American? Are we lumping them all together?
Well, so that's the thing. There is, the guy was saying one thing, that there is a in the European, there is some type of culture like Celtic, that's different as a type of culture.
Yeah.
Norse and things like that. Dutch, I guess it's called Dutch or Switzerland. Is that
Switzerland? Swiss?
Yeah,
Swiss.
The Swiss
culture.
So, yes, so different types of culture, or Dutch, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, I'm not sure the actual term on that one. But is there such thing as like a white culture? Like, is it because like
American white culture? Is that what you mean?
I guess so, because like Dutch is a nationality.
Well, it'd be easier for me to speak on American white cultures since I'm American anyway. I mean, what about blue jeans and t-shirts, motherfucker? That's much more American than that. Hot dogs, baseball. Yeah, motherfucker, we have culture. I'm about sick of motherfuckers saying that white people don't have culture. You know what? We have baseball. We have, I'm just going to repeat the same couple things. We have blue jeans, fucking Billy, what's his name? You can tell the culture's I'm really invested in the culture because I don't even know their names. Hey, you know what? Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let me put you on the spot a little bit, sir. Where do you fall as far as that question? Like, what do you think about when someone raises that question?
Okay, so when I think about culture, I think of their roots. So is there such thing as American culture or white American culture? American culture, yes. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say. I would say American culture itself. Yes, there's American culture. Is there white American culture? I don't think that there's no such thing as white American culture. But when you say white culture itself, I don't think there's a such thing as white or Caucasian culture, because here's the thing. The ones I named off, the nationalities and the tribes and things I named off, such as Celtic, Swiss, all stuff like that, you can have a black Irish or a black Scottish if like right now, you really can have that. Somebody who lives out there, who was born out there, and was born and raised a Scot or a Swiss or a Celtic, and was raised that way. You can have that, and there's actually and there's histories of that, or vice versa with the Asian type of cultures. But as to say, it's a white culture. I was like, well, and I was struggling with it too. I'm like, I guess not. I won't say there is, from my perspective and what I've seen and researched, there isn't any white culture. And
I'm gonna look something up real quick.
Okay, and it's things have basically derived from other cultures and have white people have, or I wouldn't say white people, but Caucasian culture has taken things from it for themselves. African culture, I can't say African American culture because it's actually African. I'm talking about African culture. That's that's why they call them African Americans. Is because you're American, that their roots are from Africa. Even though I was born in America, my ancestry is from Africa, and I know that with my last name and everything. And my teachers made me do research because my last name and shit like that. But I know that my lineage and my ancestry is from a country in Africa for sure.
I love you, Ryan, but I'm going to fight you tooth and nail on this. That does not make you African American. I don't care if you had every ancestor before you was born in Africa and you're a first generation, which you're not American. When you're born here, if you're born on this soil, you're not African anything.
No,
you have African ancestors, but you're not
That's
African
what I'm saying.
American.
I am American. I'm 100% American.
Oh, okay.
But the whole point of saying African American is not because you are an American from Africa. It's saying that you are an American and your heritage, ancestry is from Africa. That's why my skin color, my pigment, what I get, what makes me this is my lineage, past lineage is from Africa.
Well, I just Googled white culture and I couldn't find much.
Damn. Okay.
When I think of white culture, I think of good old boys. I think of like farmers, baseball, fucking apple pies, hot dogs, just American shit. Now, I don't really I think that stuff loosely gets mainly associated with white people. A lot of black guys aren't really, black people, I should say, are really known for playing baseball. It's like not a sport you guys seem to be super interested in. Of course, Latinos have kind of taken that from us too. Motherfuckers are good at baseball. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
they're fucking good at baseball. Man. Holy shit.
They are fucking great.
But you go back to, Babe Ruth and all the rest of them. But Mickey Mantle, see, I pulled that one out of my ass.
Nice.
Like I said, baseball, Hollywood, just verbose. Like I don't know, man. Like it's hard to put your finger on it because America as a whole is responsible for a lot of culture. Let me say this. These kind of debates, they don't bug me in the sense like, I hate talking about this, but I wish that we didn't talk about this as a society, because don't we self-segregate enough? Like when we start saying, identifying like our issues or our stereotypes, the first thing that we throw out is our race. It's like, dude, aren't we more than our skin color? I mean, isn't this 2021? Like we keep, like everything gets brought back to race so often. It's like, dude, I mean, everyone talks about how we need equality. We need to come together. We need to be Americans, but no one acts like that. Everyone wants to self-segregate in a million different ways. And maybe I'm deflecting a little bit because, I don't have like a laundry list of, white culture things I can just throw at you. And by the way, we literally was going to talk about this. We talked about it for about a minute and a half before we started talking about it. So I haven't had a chance to research anything. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to look into the history of things. I'm a dummy. I'm not a historian.
You're not a dummy. This
I'm
is
sure.
actually this is better because this is actually you are I wouldn't say the average American or the average person. You know
I'm a
you're
pretty
what?
prototypical white American dude.
Okay,
I would say.
okay,
I would say that's fair. I
okay.
mean, look, we're fucking ball caps and love big titties. I guess that's kind of a black guy thing too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a guy thing. I mean, if you either love titties or ass or both, but
Dude, all the time I'm like, dude, I'm a titty guy, and I am, but I love big old juicy. My kids here. I love big old juicy tits, and then I'm like,
Mhm,
I'm not an anti-ass guy, but I'm just prefer titties.
exactly.
I just love I love the word titties. But then I see somebody with that tiny little waist with the BBL with that big old booty. I'm like, okay, that's pretty awesome too.
Hmm. Ain't that the
But
truth?
yeah.
But yeah, so
So and please feel free to cut in here, but
okay.
I just these kinds of conversations, I enjoy having them, and I don't mind talking about it because I don't want to be a pussy and not talk about stuff that I'm not super comfortable talking about because I don't really know. But at the same time, I wish did have to begin with. I mean, when are we going to truly take that next step to being enlightened as a country? You know what I mean?
I actually know the answer to that. I know the answer to that. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for the whole country, but the consensus on this one is coming to that once acknowledgement happens that there hasn't always been equality, and still to this day is not 100% equality.
Who's not
Well,
acknowledging that?
a lot of people are not acknowledging that.
Who? You can't
So,
you can't just say people. You got to give me examples.
so a lot of people. I would say society. So, you want examples? Okay.
DePaul, you guys are in
So,
every commercial. What else do you want?
No.
Every one of them.
So, okay, here's the thing. A fucking commercial is not acknowledgement of that's called business, brother. You know that one because that's what sells.
I think I think right now we're in the state of an overcorrection. And by the way, I'm not saying there shouldn't be. I'm all for equality of opportunity. I think equality of outcome is poisonous. That's how you get socialism and communism, things like that. But what did I just say? Something of opportunity. Equality of opportunity
Yeah.
is crucial. Like you have to have that. And look, not everyone has the same opportunities. Okay, but one thing that irks me is that when people throw out this idea that black people are the only ones that don't get the opportunities, like, dude, if you, I'm not gonna like make this about me, but if I swear to God, it's a goddamn miracle I'm alive. We could do a whole podcast on my upbringing in the part of the Tulsa that I grew up in. It was fucking trailer trash meth heads. Okay, I promise you, we had no more advantages than the black guys in North Tulsa.
And see, and that's the thing. Like I think that's where people think like you went through struggles. You went through like you was in the hood. It was called the hood. It was called
Trailer Park.
Okay, there you go.
We're the Trailer Park boys.
It's just a different term. So that's the thing is like there's different environments, different lingo, whatever you want to call it, language. But some people went through the same shit. Yes, we get that. And you probably had some cool ass friends. I don't know if you had any black friends like that, but you probably had some friends that was like fucking. All right, yeah, you my road dog.
Wasn't a whole lot of diversity in West Tulsa.
Really?
It was West Tulsa was all like the trailer park meth heads, and North Tulsa was like the black ghetto, basically.
Gotcha. Okay. So
pretty much still like that.
And see, the question is, why is it still like that?
You're asking some questions that are way above my pay grade. As far as because we can throw out ideas all day long, but like you got to like tangibly get on the ground and start making changes, and that's a hard process. We got to vote the right people in, and who are the right people. You know what I mean?
It's extremely hard.
We can't even agree on anything.
No, well, we can and we can't. And here's the thing: I do know media has a big hand. Mainstream media, almost a mainstream media, has a big hand in turning narratives and to bend it their way. 100% agree on that. 100 with you on that one. I don't think no one. Oh, I can't say that. I can't speak for everybody. But I don't think a majority of the people think that that's not true. We
Can I
know
ask you a
that.
question?
Yeah, what's up?
Like, as someone who's obviously black, do you think that the mainstream media, social media, and politicians use black people as political pawns?
Yes.
Then
They
and then
use
I'm
all of it.
going to ask you straight up. Then why do you guys keep voting for him?
Well, you can't say
Democrats.
you guys.
Democrats every 4 years, Democrats come out screaming how racist America is on a dime every 4 years.
Because that's what sells, and that's not why we vote for them. That's why black people vote for them. But that's how when you tell somebody and manipulate somebody so much that they are beat. Just like this, it's a pimp game. It's literally a fucking pimp game. A perfect example. Politics is a fucking pimp game, and this is how. Well, I mean,
Agree with that.
you tell the people that you tell the person who you are trying to pimp what they want to hear. Sweet nothings in their fucking ear. Oh, baby, I'm gonna give you the world. I'm gonna do this. I'll make sure that you eating fine lobster and steak, and you gonna have all the fine things out there. We'll give you fucking checks every fucking month.
If you vote for me, all these things will come true.
Yeah, and then when you in office, yeah, you do it for a little bit, and then you're like, bitch, get out my way. Go get my money. Go do this. No, we gave you enough. We gotta talk to the next motherfucker. You ran your work. That's literally a fucking pimp game. Now
I have a theory, by the way.
I don't play one at all either, but I'm saying I know some who in the past have done that, and I've seen it, and it's like that is literally fucking what politics is. That's why I hate politics and I stay out of this shit.
I have a theory about black people in politics. I have a feeling. Or I have a theory, and look, I actually believe this. I'm not even trying to be funny. I think that like 60 to 70% of black people are closet conservatives and Republicans. If you guys could walk into the booth and not worry about the guy behind you calling you an Uncle Tom, I think you guys would at least try it for a term or two. You guys would vote Republicans because listen, a lot of black people are pro Second Amendment. A lot of black people are pro First Amendment. A lot of black people want to be pro like low taxes, less government, and things like that. But and then
I'll tell you a secret.
But I'm like 10 more seconds. But if you guys, every single time a black person, like a well-known black person, votes Democrat, they get called Uncle Tom. They get called whatever all the names from like the black people eat their own. Like it's so crazy because white people can. I said 10 more seconds. 10 more seconds. White people can vote Democrat, Republican. No one gives a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, white people, it's like 90% Democrat, and the ones that like veer off course are just raked over the coals by white and black liberals, and it's just like blows my mind that you guys don't have the freedom of thought.
So we do, and if you're talking about like big celebrities like that, we'll use like Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg. We know that they voted for Trump. There's no they don't hide the shit.
I don't think Snoop Dogg did, right? Wasn't he saying fuck Trump and all that?
At first, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And he actually even did a whole fucking video at what was it, Snoop Dogg? Snoop, if you're watching this, I doubt you ever fucking will. But
you never know. Hey, we'll tag him. I'll put a hashtag Snoop Dogg. You never know.
But it became because of the fucking taxes and everything. Just money wise, like it made sense. And after looking at shit, it was like, wait, you want to tax people who make over $400K? And yeah, the most average person is not in this fucking day and age with inflation. You might have to eventually, but to survive. But it's like you want to tax the rich, and I understand pay your fair share. I get that, but if you don't want to do the work, don't fucking think somebody's gonna fucking pay for your shit if you don't fucking want to do the work. That's my thing. So I get the whole like why people are saying, oh well, if the black people if they tried to vote conservative or for the left, for the right, sorry, Republican, you guys eat your own. Yes and no. They'll call you out, and that's the thing. We do.
Why?
It's love.
Like,
I'll tell you why.
If I'm black and I go vote for a Republican, that's none of your fucking business. You know what I mean?
True, 100%. And it's not because of that. It's because of if you say one thing, it's like this. If you say, oh, I'm from the fucking streets and this, and you most it's mindset. It's mindset. I'm gonna tell you this. It's 100% mindset. We hustle People hustle and do what you got to do to get out of the situations that you're in, right? Financially, you hustle, you do everything, you learn shit, you create stuff, you opportunities, businesses, whatever. You hustle, you make money to get out of the poverty situation that you're in. But then once you get out of that shit, most people are like, oh well, you changed, and it is a crab in a bucket thing. But at the same time, that's a whole different topic that we can touch on. It's not just black people who do that. It's just shown more because most people are so used to the handout, and a lot of people have been conditioned to do that, to hate and be in that jealousy. So, and it's not just black people who do that. It's every nationality. If white people do it too, you don't hear a lot about it. You're like, oh well, we don't care. No, you give a fuck. Like, because if you didn't care, when you see rallies and shit like that, and people fucking shutting people down and like cussing them out, and this is not even a mainstream.
Yeah,
this is like,
but here's the difference. When white people argue about Republican and Democrat shit, it's about policy. It's about, and by the way, a lot of it's dehumanization that I absolutely can't stand. I have no hate for anyone who votes the opposite.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless
Exactly.
I have hate for people that are really
Well,
bad people, like rapists and murderers and all like
Yes.
those. When we argue, it's about, well, it's because I think you're voting for somebody who's an idiot, and it's about the policy. It's not about when black people get cascaded for voting against the grain. That's it's because a black person, you're black. Why'd you voted Republican? You're black. Like, you guys get cascaded for voting the other side because of your skin color. That's fucking racist, dude.
No. It's actually the same thing. You
I don't
are
think
just
it's the same thing at all.
it's literally the same thing what you said, because the Democrats have always pushed the, hey, we're gonna take care of you, we're gonna give you this and this, and like lower taxes, and they say it.
What Democrat is talking about lower taxes right
Bro,
now?
they used to fucking
Which
always
one?
say that shit
Okay.
back in the day,
Back in
when I was a kid.
1967.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We're in
But
2021.
So here's the thing. You said, why can't black people do this and like come together and just if they vote for the Republican one side? They actually did. A lot of people did. Bush. How do you think Bush got into term twice? Senior. It wasn't just
he won the electoral vote. like every other one. I don't know.
No, people actually fucking voted for him. People actually fucking voted for him, and if because of the whole like oh whoa, this just doesn't make sense. So it wasn't that because he had, like, you know, just it was a close call. Bush fucking won. Bush was like
Well,
landslide.
actually, some people think he stole Florida that one year from Al Gore.
You talking about Junior?
Yeah.
Yes, Junior. Yeah.
I was too young to care back then, but I still remember it going on. They recounted Florida like 12,000 times or something.
I remember that shit too. I wasn't too young to care, but then now these days I'm like, oh okay, but I do that was Junior's second term.
By the way, this is not. Here's my thing. I don't care who you vote for, but I just wish it was based off policy and not skin color. Like the fact that black people feel like they're pigeonholed, however you want to say that, into a Democratic corner. If you're a black person and you feel like you align more with the Democratic views, great. But that same energy should, if a black person wants to vote Republican, people should just be like, okay, well, obviously you have more conservative views. That's great. But because you're black, they expect you to vote Democrat. That's fucking racist.
Actually, the whole Democrat and Republican is racist. Period. It's segregation. There you go. Because if you're talking about policies is not Democrat or Republican.
Yeah,
policy
but you gotta have different sides because you gotta have different views.
That's racist. That's segregation.
How?
You're segregating because,
but not by race. It's about we're doing it. We're segregating by how we feel about taxes and how we feel about gun laws. That's not has nothing to do with race.
Most sides, that's how they separate shit because of race. Like, we're going to target the like you said, most Democrats they target they go for the lower community, the low income black people, like this, like that. There's white people as low income, but you see them talking to the black community. And now
it's because Democrats know if they lose the black vote, they'll never win another election.
But no, so why wouldn't the Republicans go? I can't believe we're fucking talking about so many politics like now. But why would the Republicans do the same thing? I know this we didn't. Why would the Republicans wouldn't do the same thing? It's like, well, hey,
we tried to Paul. We try to convince black people that hey, we want lower taxes. Like we are the party of law and order, low taxes,
here's
all this stuff. But
here's the thing.
But here,
no. I'll tell you right now.
We try, but here's the thing. Every single time we try, another black person. Okay, let's say like Kanye West supported Trump for a little while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Donald Trump was seen taking pictures with him. Hey, this is great. And what did other black people do? They told Kanye, or every time we try to get a black person on our side, they say, "Oh, that's just your token black guy." It's like, so we can't win. Either we're racist or we want you on our team. We're still racist because we just want you to be our token black guy. So either way, to a Democrat, a Republican that wants to talk to black people, either way, we get called a racist.
I understand what you're saying. 100% understand what you're saying, and I've seen that on media. Yes. Now here, this one I'll say.
That's
just
fair.
Because,
That's fair.
Yeah, and just because the media shows you that doesn't mean that everyone agrees with that.
That's true. That's fair. That's very fair.
And this is what I mean about that. If you were a cheater one time, if you cheated you had a relationship that cheated, the relationship didn't work, and then everyone found out that you cheated, but you want to get another relationship, and you're like, hey, I felt bad. I mean, I learned my lesson. This and this. We want to work together. Would you do everything in your power to show that you're a good person? Like, that's not our intent. I want to take you on dates. I want to do this. I want to be with you. I want to show you who I am. You will build that relationship, right? Get that rapport, so that okay, well, yeah, he made a mistake. No fucking problem. All right, I'll give you a chance.
But what if they're Psycho X, the Democrats, keep whispering in the girl's ear, hey, that piece of shit is just going to beat you again. That piece of shit that wants nothing good for you. Anything that's ever going to happen to you is over here in my house. Okay. Like the Democrats used, this is undisputable to Paul. Black people are being used by Democrats every 4 years. You know why nothing changes? Because after they tell you guys they're going to fix the low income and they're going to try to do all this stuff, they just, like you said earlier, they tell you what you want to hear, and then they go on about their regular politics, and then we'll see you again in 4 years. Nothing changes. And by the way, Republicans are not absolved of like anything here. I'm just like, there's plenty blame to go around in a lot of,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
for a lot of different things. Okay. But I'm talking about specifically, I don't think the Democrats have done anything over the last 60 years to deserve 90% of the black vote religiously.
They don't get 90% of the black vote religiously.
Oh, come on. It's like 87, 90, 92.
They really don't. So I'll tell you this.
You make me pull this up. I'm going to pull.
Listen. I'm going
to look it up. Go ahead and talk. I'm going to look it up because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going to look it up.
Here's the thing is that you say Democrats, like it's not even about Democrats and fucking Republicans, because no matter what fucking side you're on, unless it's the Senate and the Congress that has to, and then the president can veto shit like that. And so the whole thing right there, that's what matters. That's what actually is getting shit done. It's not like, oh, well, the president can say everything he fucking wants to under the sun. And the shit still won't happen until the Congress or the Senate passes the shit. So it doesn't matter what the president, the Democratic pick of the president or the Republican pick of the president says. It all matters is what actually gets passed by the House, and then if the president's like, he can veto it, but it's there's processes in place, so it's not the whole thing. So a matter of the left and the right saying whatever, like I don't even look at that anymore because I'm like, whatever. My thing is this. If you're a human being, especially if in politics, you gotta fucking play the game. So the issue was that, and I've talked to a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but a few, and I haven't talked to you about this, I believe. When we'll talk about Trump. Now, I don't have a problem with Trump at all. I won't say at all. I don't have a problem with him as a president or as a person.
Like policy based and taken away from his personality.
Exactly. He's a dumbass fuck. He needs to keep his mouth shut. because he was causing a lot of fucking problems and the division and shit and being stupid. But policy wise, he ran the country as a business, and I don't have anything wrong with what he did.
Isn't that what's most important?
Yes, I agree. But the fact that it was causing division and hatred out of people that against each other, like hey, he could easily came together and like he bounced around shit too much instead of just come out and saying shit flat out and like, I don't give a fuck about the business part of it. My business is separate from this office. If you can unite people,
you think that until they raise your taxes by 10%.
No, because there's always loopholes around that.
If you're a smart business owner, fine. But I'm talking about your average American.
Exactly, and I had to fucking learn how that because I started paying taxes at the beginning. I was like, fuck this. There gotta be other ways around this shit. Nothing, not avoiding taxes. I'm not doing tax fraud. I'm just paying.
Too late. You said it. You said it on a podcast.
Legal affairs.
You listen to IRS.
Abiding by the tax laws. That's why
I'm begging for an audit. Let's go, IRS.
Shut up. That shit. My CPA is perfectly fine. He's legit, or they are legit. But that's my thing. Is like, it was. Why would you just keep on stirring that fucking pot? He was, he was a pot stirrer, and he. I think a lot of it was he's punching back, and there's a strong argument to be like, you're a president, you'll need to punch back, but he had the media, the social media, Hollywood. He had every huge entity imaginable trying to take him down for 4 years. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know this or not, but the Russia shit was fake. They made it up. Okay.
Probably was.
No, there's no probably.
Everything's coming out right now too. Like the whole like Facebook and
they investigated for 2 years and found nothing. Okay. Look, I really don't want to make this some like pro-Trump, pro thing. I don't even know how we got onto politics. It's about Americans,
culture,
American culture. But let me just say this. Here's my only wish. And look, I'm no political pundit. I'm probably said a lot of things that are not right today. But here's my general feeling. I wish that everyone had the freedom, the mental freedom to walk into the voting booth. And I know you have the freedom to do this physically. I'm talking about mentally and just the cultural pressure. I wish the cultural pressure wasn't there on black people to feel like you have to vote Democrat because of the color of your skin. If you want to vote, if you want to vote Democrat, fine.
Let me tell you this.
Shouldn't feel pressured into doing it.
This is what I'll tell you right there. Black people won't fucking snitch or call the cops if the fucking somebody steal their fucking car. So they're not pressured to tell anybody nothing. So I don't want to say that they're pressured. That they ain't pressured. It's people ask me all the time, social media, like, who do you vote for? Oh, you must be who I vote for. You don't know who the fuck I vote for because I never said who I vote for. And when people say, "Who did you vote for?" It's not your business. Because that's it, that if it was your business, there'll be a fucking whole billboard of Ryan DePaul voted for this person, or Adam Lewis voted for this fucking person. That's why they are private, so you can vote in peace and not have any kind of repercussion or somebody coming against you who you vote for. So unless you go and tell somebody and put a fucking banner, so and so 2024 or so and so 2030, doesn't fucking matter. That's what I'm saying. So
shouldn't. I agree.
It really shouldn't. I mean, so like to say that this, like, and I agree with you. The whole it's on the it's about policies, 100%. And people like handouts. So, like I said, if people are saying that, hey, blah blah blah, you'll get this, that's always gonna happen. And so until you fucking break that cycle and that mindset, that's always gonna happen. So
I know how to break the cycle.
How?
Vote Republican, motherfucker.
I fucking love you. Hey, by the way, if you guys are watching this, you see how we're doing this? We're still laughing and having a good time.
I love Ryan. I love it because I know you're a good guy. And look, because here's the thing about people need to understand: right or wrong, if whether I'm right or I'm wrong, or you're right, you're wrong. We mean well. Yeah. We're all trying to get to the same goal. You know what I mean? It's like, so anybody has a problem with us discussing this or hates me from my point of view, that you need to check yourself, because we're just people that want the good things, and we're just slightly disagree on how to get to some of them. You know what I mean? Like
Different views. That's all it is.
that's what being adult used to mean.
Different perspectives, and you should be able to. That's what debating was supposed to be back in. That's what it was. You can debate and then go have a beer or have a drink or have dinner with somebody and still be their friends. Like, okay, that's interesting. And a debate is basically just being able to tell somebody your point of view, and then possibly having them see your point of view, and say, okay, well, thank you for giving me that perspective. I still don't agree with it, or oh, I can see why you say that.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, and no one's is forcing anything on you, or it shouldn't be forcing anything on you. It's free will. It's fucking freedom of speech. So as long as it's not hurting somebody or causing some kind of hurt mentally or physically, I'm not talking about just hearing a fucking name that hurts. Don't be a smart ass. I'm talking about really like, I'm ready to commit suicide because my whatever my feelings are something like that. So
suicide, hurt. Jesus, that escalated quickly.
That's a horrible fucking sound bit right there. So yeah, somebody we're not fucking
who's ever listened, don't commit suicide.
Don't do that. So, but here's the thing: people have been bullied so bad because of this shit. But
there's a huge problem with dehumanization. There's a problem in this country or probably a lot of countries, with thinking that the other person, if they want something different politically, that means they want it in spite of you, and that they don't care about you, or like there's this perception that I mean, I hate to keep going back to Trump, but people thought that if you voted for Trump is because we're trying to make America white and racist again. It's like, what the hell? Like and Trump's far from a perfect person. I mean, come on. I mean, he's for all intents and purposes the fucking misogynist. He's an egomaniac. Like, that's not just because I voted for him. Those things are not lost on me. But he did physically.
Yeah.
And you may just, I don't know if you agree. I think you disagreed with me last time I said this, when I said he lowered taxes.
No. I agree. He puts policies in place that made it so that taxes went down. I agree with you 100%.
Here's what people they keep falling for. They keep falling for this trick that every time a Republican makes a decision, they try hard as they can to twist that into making it about race instead of just about the principle of what that thing is. Like whenever the pandemic started and Trump was talking about restricting travel back and forth from like China and Asia, Biden was one of them, talking about, well, this has nothing to do with race. This is racist. And now he's literally doing the same thing because you have to, because it was a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's just like little things like that. And look, Republicans do the same fucking thing. Like they're all interchangeable. But I'm saying right now, as for the last couple election cycles, it's gone way past the last couple election cycles. I feel like I'm just sick of race. Every 4 years, these race hustlers come in and try to say how racist everything is because that's going to help them get votes.
So I will say this. You know, something, especially this past year, the whole thing with the race thing or the race agenda, that plays on fear. You know, I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you from a black man perspective. I legitimately used to get have panic attacks when I saw a cop. Not because I'm a criminal or not because I have, I did anything, like I was actually a good ass fucking kid, but because I've been stopped and harassed for doing nothing. I was in a high speed chase one time, and just because a cop,
how's that not doing anything? You're in a high speed chase.
I was listen. Well, I was in a high speed chase. I was almost in a high speed chase. They rephrase that.
I wouldn't pull over, and the cops had a big problem with that. I don't know what their problem was.
Well, no, listen. So I was at a stoplight one time, leaving a city that was considered back then a very rich city. You know, it wasn't low property and like that. Property like that, upper class. There you go.
Gotcha.
And I was about to leave, go home. I was visiting a friend there, a girl, and I was leaving. Pace and everything was good. Tags all good, license good. Cop saw me coming the other way, made eye contact with me. I was literally at a stoplight. Made eye contact with me. He like was breaking his neck, sped up. I saw him do a U-turn, so I just fucking made a right turn, went down the nearest residential area, parked the car, put my seat back. He literally, I heard his ass fly right by me. Vroom. Like if he would have saw me, he would stopped and like I was like, what the fuck? I ain't been to that city since, but because I was like so afraid. But shit like that, like I've been cussed out by a cop for making a mistake as when I first got. So that fear and has been installed in me. And when you see so much shit and hear so much shit, that it was like, okay, this and this, and you see all this stuff that's happening to people that look like you. That fear and that I wouldn't say hate. I never hate anybody, but that fear and anxiety happens like that. So they use that as a play. It's almost like psychological warfare.
Mm-hmm.
So and they used to do that. The whole Jim Crow. I actually talked to my grandparents. They lived through this the Jim Crow era, and they say no. And I was recently just talking to my grandparents. Like, yeah, we lived through all that stuff. It was crazy.
I'm sure. Yeah.
They was like, we don't know how we fucking survived, but it was like you had to keep on your P's and Q's or you were done. And it was so segregated and just like divided. And it's like, okay, yeah, you couldn't buy in this area because you were black. And we will do. And if you wanted to buy a house, what was a shack was going to cost you double. So you had to work twice as hard, and we will get your money, but your money still wasn't good enough for this person over here. And I'm like, fuck. And I just recently learned about that, and I never experienced it like that. But just seeing shit and listening to shit and seeing like people, young kids, getting killed and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, and I'm always like, okay, what's the backstory? Is there a backstory? Because there's always two stories to every side. I get that, so I don't just go like, oh, another black person killed. I'm like, well,
but the people with influence do on purpose.
Media
like LeBron
does.
James, the biggest. I think LeBron James is the biggest. He's one of the most divisive people in this country. Because every time something big happens, he jumps right on social media, and he has like tens of millions, probably across all social media, it's probably 100, 200 million people follow him. And he constantly, every time there's a chance to stoke the flames, he constantly gets in there without knowledge of any facts, any backstory. And look, cops mess up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are cops that are racist because there's racist people of all walks of life. And obviously no one likes that. Okay. And if it costs someone their fucking life, then that's like double fucking sucks. Right. Obviously. Yeah. So, but here's just, I'll give you another perspective. Okay. Like here's how someone like me as a white guy, I hate doing that, but here's how a white guy thinks about these kind of things. And please push back if I'm wrong.
Okay.
If there are 330 million, not everybody drives. Let's say there's probably about 100, 200 million people in this country that drive. There's every day, there's probably tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of traffic stops.
Mm-hmm.
Once every blue moon, like if it was one a month of a news story where a black person was pulled over by the cops and ended in some sort of altercation where the cop shot the person. That's like 0.00000001% of all actual traffic stops. Being a cop is a really hard job. So they take a handful, and look, you can say a handful's too many, and we can argue that. But you take a handful of stories a year of an instance where a person gets pulled over, they end up losing their life, they end up getting shot by, and they happen to be black. So first of all, they just assume that because the person was black, they was racially motivated. A lot of times with no real evidence of that. And look, I'm sure you can find cases where there's evidence of it, and I'll back you, and I'll say that's fucked up, and we can work together to say that, to change those things. I'm willing to do that. But first of all, you shouldn't just assume that it's because the guy was black. And maybe he got pulled over, shit went sideways, and he happened to be black. That's also very plausible. And just the sheer number of people and traffic stops that happen every day, 99.9999% of black people that get pulled over go home just fine. You know why? Because they get pulled over and it's just a regular traffic stop. Like nothing happens. But the media, to your point earlier, that it's fear driven, they take these handful of instances. Some of them are really bad. Some of them they misconstrue to make worse. And they use these examples to say the cops are racist and they're out hunting black kids. That's a fucking terrible message to send a young black man out with, that that cops are out to kill them. And some parents, they do that shit, and it's racist and it's wrong.
So I agree with you to a certain degree, and I don't agree with you to a certain degree. So I'm not saying every cop or every precinct out there is saying, oh, hunt black people like that, or hunt black men like that, whatever. I agree with you 100%. That no. I know cops. I've done volunteer work, like literally, like a partner up and help. I call my friends or like that, people who I've worked with, that have been in situations that had to take leave of absences because of the situation that had happened in California. I'm not gonna mention names, but it was called the Fruitvale. They actually made a movie about it. Michael B. Jordan started it. It's called the Fruitvale Station.
Never seen it. Was it good?
Yeah. It's pretty good. Accurate too. But I know I know two cops that was on scene at that actual real event, and it was like fuck. So it wasn't the two that actually shot the person, but or killed him. But it was two cops that was happened to just be at the scene, and I know being a cop is hard. Trust me, I understand that. It's a hard job. Here's my thing about this: you don't take on that hard job if you have any fear. I mean, there's always fear as being a cop. I got to rephrase that. Fear of being not being able to go home to your family to being a cop, serve and protect. That's always going to be there because you never know what the fuck's going to happen. You don't know what's everything. My thing is this: I'm not saying there, people are trained to go out there and kill black people, but at the same time, there are instances that can be de-escalated and actually, it's gotten to the point that some retraining does need to be happen. And but there are look, and this is not saying every cop is bad, like that they show on fucking TV. No, they show the constant negative. When you keep on showing negative shit,
it's fear porn.
Yeah, exactly. There are good instances. There's a lot of good instances. There are a lot of police officers that are out there that fucking works with the community, that just sits there and shoot the shit. They're regular fucking people. They just happen to have that badge and protect, doing their job, their career, helping people. So I get that. There's always two sides of the story. My thing is this: when that shit happens, sometimes it's too inconsistent. And like I said, a lot of the times it is the media who's fucking doing that.
Do you think white people get killed by cops?
Oh yeah.
Why do you think we never hear about that on the media?
Because we already talked about that.
I'm just trying to prove. I'm trying to prove a point. If they talked about it as much as they talked about the black people dying, then first of all, more people would get on board with it. The reason they don't, Ryan, is because it doesn't fit the narrative that black people need to be scared of the cops.
So here's my thing: if it happens, like, why wouldn't they put it out there more?
Because it doesn't help their cause. Like it doesn't help. It doesn't help the narrative. Like no one gives a shit if a white dude gets killed like a dog in the middle of the street by a cop. It never even sees the fucking light of day on the news.
Who narratives? What narrative?
CNN, MSNBC. Like
so
90% of our
perfect. So why doesn't Fox, news? What's the other one? News. I forget the other
Newsmax?
Three. Yeah, Newsmax. Why don't they do shit like another white male was shot today by police officers?
I'll tell you why. If that's not rhetorical, okay.
No,
because the actual data, and this goes across all races, the actual data is is that it's a non-issue. It's actually not news. Now, like, I'm not saying that when it happens, we shouldn't get pissed about it. If a cop's in the wrong, look, I think that when cops do fuck up, I think a lot of times, I think you're starting to see that change a little bit, actually. But I think a lot of times when cops do fuck up, they may get suspended. They may, have to be suspended without pay. They may even lose a job, but they'll get a job somewhere else, being a cop, somewhere, soon down the road.
Like that,
The reason, if you look at I don't have it in front of me. I looked at this like a couple of years ago, like back when it was a bigger deal, but I don't have the numbers right in front of me. But if you look at the actual amount of traffic stops across all races, it's like overwhelmingly positive as far as people. 99.9% of every race goes home alive. But they don't show, the left-wing media is not going to show the white people dying because it doesn't help their cause. But they're going to show every single time a black person dies at the hand of a cop on a fucking 24/7 news cycle to keep black people pissed. It's fear porn.
I get that, and that's why I look at both networks. And like when there's incidents, I don't just watch CNN. I actually go to Fox. I actually go to Newsmax and watch that first. I'm like, okay, let me see what you're saying, because I know what they're gonna say. Let me see what you're gonna say to see if it's because I know there's always two sides of every story. And when you mesh both of them up, okay, that makes more sense now. Let's go with this. So yes, they're in the wrong, or this is in the wrong. I can use the Rittenhouse thing like that. I was talking to one of my friends. There was a part that I didn't know, but that happened in that whole incident. And I was like, well, why isn't he being portrayed for this one? I think that whole shit was kind of messed up on the whole gun thing, but it is what it is. My friend,
dude, he's being called a white supremacist by some of these people, and every person involved was literally white.
Hey, I know. I that's stupid. That's fucking stupid as fuck. I don't know why he said that, but the reason I know why, because one of the videos he said that he saw 2 weeks earlier he saw some people looting. He's like, I wish I had my fucking gun, and they was black. I wish I had my guns. I'll fucking shoot, mow them down. I'm like, whatever. He shouldn't have said that. Okay, that's fine. My thing, I'm glad I brought this up too, is that everyone was praising them and praising them and praising them on the Republican wise, or I would say not everyone on the Republican side. A lot of conservative people who are on the Republicans were praising them, and he's like, "Oh, you're a hero," this, everything like that. And when he won, he said, "God bless him." And then when he did that fucking interview,
which one?
For Fox.
What did he say?
He said,
I didn't watch it.
Oh fuck, they fucking brother. He said, "I do believe Black Lives Matter." He said, "Do you?"
Well, because most people do.
No, so that's the thing. They said, "Do you support Black Lives Matter?" And he's like, "Yeah, I believe Black Lives Matter, and I support the Black Lives Matter movement." And fucking, they turned out they called it conservative Twitter, fucking turned on his ass so fucking fast. They say what, and that's a good question. Why is it so? Why is it? Because there is a movement and there's an organization. Okay, there's a difference. You know that, right?
Yeah, I feel like there's people that feel like that and support Black Lives Matter, but have nothing to do with the actual organization. So,
yes.
Yeah, I get it.
Yes. Why is it so hard for conservatives to say Black Lives Matter?
No, it's not hard for us to say Black Lives Matter because that's fucking obvious.
Now, I'm not saying all. I'm saying why for some, like a hard left. Why is it so hard for them to say BLM or Black Lives Matter? Because I actually had an issue that somebody was like, I'm not saying that. I was like, why can't you say it? And then they're like, well, White Lives Matter. I'm like, I know why.
I think I do know why though. I think I do know why actually, because one, Black Lives Matter was actually spawned off of the Michael Brown incident, the hands up, don't shoot, which in court, even by every witness account, it was complete bullshit. He never was walking away with his hands up. He was in the front seat of the cop, or leaning through the front window trying to take the cop's gun, and he got shot. That's the fucking truth. And he had just got through robbing a store. And so, and then, but the narrative was he was walking away, hands up, don't shoot, and the cop shot him in the back. Okay. That spawned the whole Black Lives Matter thing. And the cops fucked up. I'll say it again because I don't want people to forget that I understand that cops do fuck up. I get that. I think because when the people that are like support, not the people that support it, the people like that run the foundation, when they say Black Lives Matter, they're trying to get you to admit it. It's almost like you're guilty until proven innocent. It's like, I'm not going to bend the knee and say Black Lives Matter just to prove I'm not racist. Fuck you. That's why. Because
So
I don't, because as a person, I don't have to prove to you I'm not racist. If I do say, look, if I say something racist, if I do something racist, then call me a racist. But just me not bending the knee and saying, yes, sir, Black Lives Matter, that's not proof that I'm, it's like, I don't have to prove to you I'm not racist. Go fuck yourself. Not you, just the people that would say that.
I know. I don't think, see, and that's a great take on it. Thank you for sharing that, because if that's what a lot of people think, that's different. And I don't think that's not the context. Like when a person a black person that says, hey, can you does Black Lives Matter? And if you say, oh, can you say Black Lives Matter? And without saying all lives matter. I'm like, well, yeah, yes, we know all lives matter. I agree, all lives matter.
It's a slimy game that they're trying to play, though. I'm not saying all of them.
Why? Like, but why do you think it's a slimy game? It's just a fucking word.
See, because
it's or a phrase. It's like it's saying, hey, yes, I believe Black Lives Matters.
Because the insinuation is that if you don't say it, then you don't think it, and that's like you don't get to impose. And again, I'm not saying you specifically, but you don't get to impose you don't get to impose this like thought control on me and what I say and what I have to say. And it doesn't make, and you're not going to back me into a corner and say that I'm a bad person because I don't say to you, the person who's confronting me, you're not going to make me say something to prove I'm not racist. That's not how this works. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. I'm glad you said that. So, do you tell your wife you love her?
Of course.
Do you love your wife?
Yes.
Do you tell your neighbor you love him?
No.
Do you love your neighbor?
Sure. Connect the dots for me. I'm stupid.
So here's what I'm saying. Words make shit happen. If you can't say something and mean it, like when you say something, you bring it to fruition. You actually, like when you verbally say shit, you push shit out there in the atmosphere, in the universe, and like that. Shit's gonna happen. If you keep on thinking negative thoughts and bad shit, it's negative shit's gonna happen. If you actually say stuff, and if you have a hard time saying Black Lives Matter, and I'm just using this example, why is it so hard for a person like somebody can say,
it's a bullying tactic. It's a bullying tactic.
No, on this one, no.
By a lot of people, it is. I'm not saying all of them, but by a lot of people, it's a bullying tactic to make it. It's about compliance. A lot of these people are about compliance.
Just to say Black Lives Matter, how's that compliance?
See, it just drives you crazy that I won't just say yes, sir, Black Lives Matter. It drives you crazy.
It doesn't. I'm just asking.
I'm just messing with you, though.
I'm really asking a serious question because, like, I have no problem saying all lives matter. I said yes, I agree. All lives do matter.
Shouldn't that be the answer?
But no, because the whole purpose of saying Black Lives Matter is like, yes, we know all lives matter. What we're asking is this one demographic right here who's asking for support from his brothers, all of his brothers and sisters, to come support us. I'm not talking about brothers and sisters as, hey, all the Black brothers and sisters. I'm talking about brothers and sisters as a whole, as an American, as a world, that Black lives do matter, and come and show the power of unity.
Okay. I feel like we're just going to go back and forth on this, so I won't keep badgering you. So whenever you're saying why won't just a lot of people just say it and just be on board? Why do you have a problem saying it? Because when you do that, when you're forcing people to say it or wanting them to say it, then you are making them, right when they do that, what you've done is you have forced that person to inadvertently admit that that this country is racist, and we want you to prove to us that you're not racist. Look, who's the people out there? Where are the people protesting and saying Black lives don't matter? Like, who's doing this?
We have KKK.
What, like what? Like the 13 of them in Kentucky?
Bro, that's not 30. There's fucking. There are, bro.
Come on, dude.
You you
Okay.
still don't think they?
Okay, fine. Then Black Lives
you-
Matter. Take their asses down to the KKK convention and go tell them, say,
They
Black
have.
Lives Matter. Okay,
Oh, they have.
that's fine.
They have,
that's
but
fine.
That's what
They
I'm
can go
saying,
back
though.
and forth. Like no one likes the KKK. Okay, but I'm not the KKK. Fuck you. I'm not saying it because it's and it's not because I don't think Black Lives Matter, Ryan. It's because I don't have to prove to anybody I'm not racist. I don't have to do that.
So if I came to you and said, Adam, do you think Black Lives Matter? And can you honestly say it?
I'm perfectly fine with that question. Okay,
I know.
So if you say to Black Lives Matter, I'll say yes.
Okay.
And if you say, okay, now do you support Black Lives Matter? I'll say no, because I think that the organization is toxic. I think the organization is about compliance. If you're just asking the question, do Black Lives Matter? Then the answer is obviously fucking yes.
And see, that's the thing. Some people can't even say that. That's where we're getting at.
Find me one person who won't say Black Lives. That
There's
won't.
plenty of shit.
If you ask the question to anybody, like, dude, look, the next, if me and you ever see each other in person, and we probably won't do this, but we'll walk down a boulevard and we'll ask every fucking person, hey, do you think Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, we can do a socially awkward live podcast in the street.
100% of them will say yes.
Okay.
You look.
You know what? I might do an experiment with that.
Because there's a big difference between saying Black Lives Matter and do you support Black Lives Matter? Like they want to conflate. If you say no, then they're like, oh, you don't think Black Lives Matter? It's like they start playing those mental gymnastics. It's toxic and it's rotten.
So I'm not talking about saying do you support Black Lives Matter? That's the organization. I mean, I'm talking about the movement is different. The movement, the organizations will collect a lot of fucking money, all that shit like that, and yeah, whatever. We know about that. The movement is something different. Just want that support. That's what that whole thing is. And some people cannot fucking.
I'll support Black people. Look, I'm one person. I'll support Black people by treating them like everybody else, a regular fucking person who I don't kill. How about that? I'm treating you no different from the fucking Joseph Smith right next to me. That's the best I'm going to. You know why? Because I treat people based on the content of their character, Ryan. I've said this. You listen to my podcast. I've said this for years. I'm not going to change for a Black person. Like I'm not going to.
No one's actually changed.
Oh, no, I know. I'm saying for the people who want compliance, I'm not going to go above and beyond and say, yes, I support Black Lives Matter. Yes, sir. I'm not a racist, sir. I'm not playing that game.
So it's interesting. And I know we are on an hour. But it's interesting that you say that the whole compliance word. So I get 100% what you're feeling on that one, and that's a lot of what I should say. People, I don't want to say oppressed, but I mean whatever you want to call it, oppression. People, Black people who or color, people of color who feel oppressed. Is honestly the same thing that they feel is like that compliance. We have to always comply. Like and a lot of times people with police stops
get pulled over. It's a good idea.
They say just comply, and when you see fucking Karens not complying or Kens not complying, they get pissed off.
Like, those are anecdotal, right? There's plenty of times when Black people comply and they go home, and there's plenty of times when white people don't comply and they're in a body bag. But it's a dangerous game pulling a news story out of thin air and saying this is how society works. Listen,
I know. I agree.
Listen,
I'm not
Ryan,
on that one.
I love you. I love everyone who is good to me. I want nothing but the best for everyone. That's the best I can do, man. I'm sorry. That's the best I can do.
And Adam, this is not pointing at you, and I know that that's not the best you can do. We're just talking about society, because that's why this is called the Socially Awkward Podcast. But I get that because society is, you can't say it as a whole. You can't generalize society. It's hard to generalize society.
That's what a lot of people are doing, though, buddy.
I know. And it's fucking crazy. But this is a good topic, and I guess it's something that needs to be talked about, even though we were talking about culture.
We spent about 30 seconds on the title of this podcast.
So
there's no way I'm titling this anything about culture. We didn't even talk about culture. We talked about
we'll have to hit culture another.
I'll figure something out. But hey, I think that was a good discussion. You know what? I think it's good to hear from people with different perspectives. If you're living in an echo chamber, everyone, that's a bad thing too.
Yes.
Don't go anywhere so we can get a thumbnail.
sure.
Guys, if you enjoy this podcast, look, this is why we wanted to do this podcast, because we come from, different backgrounds. I'm pretty sure, or fucking skin colors different. Everything about us is different, but we get along. Okay. And we can have these kind of discussions all day long. And I feel about Ryan the same way I did before I pushed record, which was that I think he's a good guy. And that's all that matters to me.
Absolutely. I love Adam the same. Brotherly love. I mean, there's no hard feelings towards him. It's just good discussion. Something that it's a great way to get two different perspectives, and to see what we think about the whole situation, just to get that thought process going. So yeah, absolutely. This is a great discussion, and I do appreciate it. And yeah, so if you're watching this and this is your first time, go ahead and do what the little ticker says. Like and subscribe, please.
Leave us a
And
like.
hit
It
that
helps in the
little bell.
algorithms. Those likes hit.
It really does.
Those algorithms, they love likes. They even like
Mhm.
dislikes. Just I don't care which one you do. Just do one of them.
Just do one of them. But yeah, guys, this was a good one. I enjoyed it.
See you next time, buddy.
All right, man. Take care.